Esger, and I'm with 10 Apps, and we're so glad that you're joining us in our live stream today. And thanks for those that have already shouted out where they're from. We're so excited that you're joining us, whether you're on YouTube with us today or on Riverside. We'd love for you to be as interactive as you can. We want to make this webinar as impactful as it can be for you and your location. So we'd love it if you'd drop where you're from in the comments, and also feel free to raise your hand in the comments, leave a question. I'll do my best to try and keep an eye on the comments. So if I don't see your question right away, be sure I'll try and pause at the end of each slide. So be sure and ask your questions if you have any questions. But today we're going to be talking about the Google Ads grant for nonprofits. So we're 10 Apps. We are a marketing company for churches. We love helping churches get their name, get their church out there in their community to help them better reach more folks for the kingdom in their community. So we do that through a unique website product that we've come up with called 10 Apps. And that product is an all-in-one website communication platform that can help bring your announcements better to your community, streamlining your communications through social media, your website, a mobile app, e-newsletters, announcement slides, TV rotating slides, and much more. And then we also have a church growth package where we help churches work through digital ads. So just a little bit about me. I've been doing marketing and website design for 15 years. I did it while I was in high school. I went to Texas Tech University and did it, got a degree in marketing there. All throughout that time, I was working in ministry and found that I was sort of just hitting these roadblocks in ministry that I eventually just started designing packages that just helped me. And now we've gotten to a place where we've been able to share that with others. Along that whole journey, I was in college ministry, and I used a sort of side gig of doing digital marketing for anybody and everybody on the side to help me and my wife make ends meet. But in the midst of all that, we were running a lot of Google ads, a lot of Facebook ads, all this SEO work for all these clients, all these businesses. And eventually we just came to the spot where we're like, man, how much more of an impact, a kingdom impact, could we make if we help churches grasp these tools of Google ads, Facebook ads, SEO, so that churches could really better reach their communities. So today we're going to be looking at the Google ads. Now, if you're a part of our growth package for our churches, each month we have a different focus for our churches that are in our church growth package. And so this month, if you're in our church growth package, we're handling all of this for you. And this will just give you a generic overview and some in-depth insights as to some of the things that we're going to be doing for you. If you're not on our church growth package, we hope you'll be able to glean from some of these strategies, some of these ideas that we're going to be implementing for folks. If you'd like to learn more about our church growth package, be sure to reach out on our website. We would love to schedule a demo with you, get to know you and your church, and see how we might be able to best help y'all. But without further ado, I'm going to hop in. Let me go ahead and share my screen here, and we are going to get going on taking a look at the Google Ads grant. So let me come in here. Now, Riverside is a new system for us. We've had some issues with our previous live streaming webinar provider in the past. So if for any reason you have any troubles at all today, let us know. We'd love to hear how this new platform is going for you. So let me find here our screen. There we go. All right, so today, let me just go through and find a few of the things that we're going to be talking about. So one, we're going to be talking about what is the Google Ads grant and why is that important for you? Is your church or ministry eligible? And then we're going to talk about steps on how to apply and then how to best use Google Ads to reach your community. So let's go ahead and take a look. What is the Google Ads grant? So the Google Ads grant is an amazing free opportunity for churches. As a nonprofit, you're eligible to apply to get the Google Ads grant. And what that means is you can get up to $10,000 a month in free ads. Now, we work with a lot of businesses. We work with a lot of churches on their Google Ads. $10,000 a month is a lot of ads, especially for churches. So I just want to highlight that as an amazing opportunity. It's basically like saying, hey, you have a lot of ramp here, a lot of room to spend on Google Ads, but you get to do that for free. So let's talk a little bit first about what a Google ad is. So a Google ad is whenever somebody in your community, or maybe they're moving to your community and they're looking for a church. Let's say they're looking for a church in Leander. I saw Leander, Texas joining us today. So if somebody's in Leander and they're searching church in Leander, Texas, You're first going to get some sponsored ads up at the top, and that's exactly what we're talking about whenever somebody searches is the sponsored ad. So it'll say sponsored ad right at the top there, but what that is that's free space for you to show up. So whether you're a new website or a new church, or whether your church has been around for a long time or not, the next two parts depend on how much Google really trusts you. So the next part is usually called the Map Pack, and that's where your Google My Business profile shows up. We also have a whole month in our church growth package where you help you optimize that. So if you just go to Google right now, you could go search church in Leander, or church in San Antonio, or church in Durango, or church in Lubbock, and see where your church is showing up. Are you showing up in a sponsored ad already? Maybe you're here today and you already have your Google ads running. That's awesome. If you don't, I'm hoping that you're showing up in the Map Pack. The Map Pack is, again, where your Google My Business profile lives. If you're not showing up there, we're hoping you're showing up in the organic search results, and that's next. And the organic search results, if you're not showing up high on that, that's where search engine optimization comes into play, and we love helping our churches and our church growth package with that. Throughout the years, we help them climb the ranks so that they can really be seen whenever somebody's searching for a church in their town. So that's the really cool thing about what the Google Ads grant is it helps you be seen. It helps your visibility. So you really don't want to be the best kept secret in your town. You want everybody that's looking for a church to be able to find you and find you easily. And it's really important too, because what they'll say is really those first 5 positions are the 5 positions that are going to get clicked. And if you think about it, that's usually you whenever you're searching for a new car accessory or something like that. Whatever you're looking for and Googling for, you're usually going to click on those first few results. And if you find something you like, you're going to go ahead and commit and visit that church or buy that product or go there. So that's where a sponsored ad for churches is really, really important. So just want to highlight that and what a Google ad is. Very nice that you can do that without having to go through all the hard work of gaining that ranking position in SEO or in the Google My Business. So just a few things to clarify here too. This is not a monetary grant. A lot of churches will find this free Google Ads grant for churches and they think, I get $10,000 a month for free and I get a check from Google. Unfortunately, they're not sending out free money. What it is it's really just ad credits for you to be able to run ads for free up to $10,000 a month. So just to clarify that, you can't go buy a new sound system or a new projector. Google's not going to do that. It's really just helping you show up in the paid results, but you're getting to show up there for free. So the next question that we want to tackle is my church or ministry eligible? So just a couple of quick things. You must have 501c3 status and paperwork. You're going to go through a process, and we'll walk through that process here in a minute. So if you don't have 501c3 paperwork handy, make sure you find that. Now this is unique for some churches that are part of denominations as well. You need to somehow be able to prove your affiliation. So we work with a lot of churches in different denominations. If you're not your own nonprofit and have your own 501c3 status, you'll want to be sure to find the affiliation paperwork. Somehow you need to have a paper trail connecting the two. So great question. I think Angel just asked here. I'll go ahead and see. I think I can show this on the screen. Do you need to do any initial investment to get the grant? Great question, Angel. Love that question. There is no financial investment. You can go, and we'll walk through the steps here in a second. You just go to google.com/grant, and you just start to fill out the information that they need. We'll go through those next steps in a moment, but there's no money that you need to put into it. It's really just the time that you have to optimize it later on. We'll get into optimizing those ads here in a minute as well. So a couple of other things that you do need to know that to make yourself eligible is you do have to have a website, and it does have to be high quality. And so a few things around that. One, it has to have an SSL certificate, which most websites do. If your site doesn't, that's a big red flag. We'd love to help you out with that. So give us a shout in the comments or reach out to us. A few other side things, you can't be selling any products. You also can't have any affiliate or any ads, affiliate ads on there of any type. So most churches aren't going to run into that, but just a high touch point on that. Now, I have seen a few churches that are not on our website platform get denied because of their website. So a few things just to keep in mind, it needs to load fast. We saw a church website get denied because it was taking 20 seconds to load their website. It has to be secure. It just needs to be a nice, well put together website. Again, we'd love to walk you through how our website can integrate all of your church communication channels into one and broadcast that all out. And all at the same time, it'll pass all of Google's standards for making sure you're eligible for the grant. So let's take a look now at steps to apply. So this might help answer your question, Angel, on that initial investment. Really, there's no monetary investment, but there is some time investment. So you do need paperwork, and this is the biggest thing we would stress is make sure you find your 501c3 paperwork. If you have that, and if you're part of a denomination, they have the 501c3 and you're underneath their umbrella, you need some type of paperwork that you can scan and send to Google and say, we're affiliated with this 501c3. Now to apply, it's really simple. All you need to do is go to google.com/grant and you'll start an application process. Now I say it's easy, that part's easy, going to that website. The next few steps do take some time. So one, you're gonna need paperwork. You're gonna go through verification by a group called Percent. They're gonna verify that you're a real nonprofit. And so that also for some new church plants that don't quite have their 501c3 status yet, you really can't take advantage of this until you have all that paperwork in hand and you're able to scan that in. I will say we do see from time to time, if you are not accepted already and you're going through this verification process, it can be lengthy sometimes because they have to really verify you are a real person, you really do work with this company. So just be prepared. That can sometimes take a little bit more effort for some churches and really proving who they are and their validity. But again, we'd love to help you out with that if you need some help. So any questions on applying or steps to apply so far before I continue on? All right, cool. Well, let's talk about the why. Why should we run Google Ads? Great question. So like I said earlier, there are lots of people looking for a church in your community. Now, if you're not showing up organically in the map pack or in the organic search results, you really don't stand a chance if you're not showing on that first page. And I would even say at the top half of that first page, you're not going to be getting as many visitors to your church as you could. So definitely want to highlight that. The other unique thing, and that is really, really cool about the Google Ads grant, a lot of folks will come to us and they maybe already have the Google Ads grant, but they're struggling to spend more than $20 a month. And really what that comes down to is one, how your account is set up, but two, what kind of campaigns you're running. So one of the things we like to really encourage churches to do is run as many campaigns as you can. If you're advertising any of the great things that God is doing at your church, you're eligible to share that with the world and to bid in the auctions for paid results whenever somebody's searching for a church in your community, whenever somebody's looking for a youth group in your community, when somebody's looking for a Christmas Eve service or an Easter service. But some of our favorites too are whenever people are looking for answers. So one of the tricks that we like to do or tips that we like to say is if you're already in Google Ads and you're like, hey, I'm just looking for some tips and tricks and optimization, go to the keyword planner and go type in lots of keywords around questions you guys think people are asking, like, is there a church in Durango? Like, I'm looking for a church in Durango. Or is there a youth group in Lubbock, Texas? And the other cool part is start to think about what kind of questions are seekers in your community asking, like, how do I pray? Is God real? How do I deal with grief? How do I handle anxiety? Those are deep questions that as Christians we believe Jesus has an answer to and speaks life and hope into. And so whatever kind of questions people are asking, that keyword planner will show you how much volume of monthly searches there are for specific keywords. And I'll tell you this idea, number D here, answers, 1D here, people are looking for answers in your community. And the cool thing is your church website in the past would never show up if somebody's searching for how do I pray. There's going to be a lot of Wikipedia articles, all these other things. But if you set up a Google campaign in the Google Ads Nonprofit Grant, you can get a free ad at the top there or down below, wherever they choose to place your ad. But you can get a sponsored ad that says, hey, here's how you pray. Here's how you can deal with your anxiety, whatever questions people are asking. Your pastor probably already has one, maybe two, maybe five, maybe 10 sermons on how do you pray or how to deal with anxiety or depression or loneliness. And so you can walk through different campaigns. You can set up a different campaign for each of these topics. This is one of the coolest ways that you can connect with people who are just struggling with deep life things and are looking for answers. They're literally looking for answers on Google. They're looking to Google to help them understand these things, and you can step in and they'll see your ad about, hey, how do I pray? Somebody has just Googled that, they click on your ad. Now you bring them to your website with a whole article about how do you pray. So this is a really insightful point where you can really help visitors connect with your church. So on that landing page, put a couple of videos, put a couple of sermons, put a blog post from your pastor about how do you pray. But the most important thing, put a way for them to connect on that page, because now all of a sudden you're using these free Google dollars to do digital outreach in your community to folks who are struggling. So I see one question here. Let me just pop in and catch it. All right. Yes. So the question, good question. Yes, you can answer, or you can target these types of questions. You can target. The question was, can we target things outside of our church? Yes, these aren't really outside of your church. I would encourage you that these are really why your church exists in your community. And so the cool thing here is that you can show your answers. So you build out this page with some of the sermons, a little blog post, but then that way to connect with a pastor or plan a visit to your church that Sunday. And that's huge, because that is the digital outreach goal, right? Is, hey, we've connected with them for free. We've helped provide them an answer. Maybe they've watched the video, maybe they've read the blog post, but now they've planned a visit, or now they've connected with our Connect with a Pastor form that we put at the bottom of the page, and they're meeting up with somebody on our staff and walking through something big and tough in their life. So think about that. That's a great way to help answer questions and offer hope in your community. So probably one of my most favorite and passionate areas that I love helping churches with is helping them show up whenever people are looking for answers in their community. So Jesus is the answer. You have that answer. Let's show that answer to Google so that people find that answer. So feel free to drop any other questions you guys have in there. I'm going to go ahead and move to our next slide here. All right. So let's go back just a little bit before we come to some questions and answers on here. Let's talk about, so I talked a lot about, hey, starting, how do you start? You apply. How do you run some Google ads? And that would be this slide right here. I would just take a screenshot of this. We'll also put a replay of this up on our website. But this is a great just campaign structure that you could just swipe and deploy and copy and paste if you're trying to do this on your own. Find ways to run campaigns where people are looking for a church in your community. But the other cool thing, find like this youth group line item, what are ministries that you have to offer? So do you have a grief care? Do you have youth group? Do you have adult ministries? Do you have divorce care? What type of small groups, what type of unique offerings and ministries do you have at your church? We were just setting up some campaigns the other day for a church that has a thrift store and reaches out to their community through that. A great, easy campaign that they can now run for their thrift store and help be found whenever somebody's looking for some of those things in their community. So that's been the initial setup. I want to transition just a little bit here, because some of you in today's webinar may already be here. You may already have the Google Ads grant. You may already have some campaigns set up, but you're like, Zach, things just aren't running well. Or they're not running like we think they should be. So a few things to know. One, Google Ads requires continual optimization. And it requires you continually coming in, making adjustments, looking at the analytics and making changes. If you don't do that, then what can happen is your account can become really stale, and Google sees that your account, you're not really making the recommendations. That they'll give you recommendations on, hey, you should change this, hey, you should adjust this. But they also see like, hey, this church down the street, they're in here all the time. They're changing their ads. They're adjusting their images. They're adjusting their descriptions. They're coming in and editing their ads. So they'll naturally begin to rank their ads even above yours. And there's some ad rank that also begins to come into play as well. One of the other things that you want to keep in mind is being a part of Google's nonprofit status You also need to fall into a 5% click-through rate or greater on all your keywords. So this is really big, and a lot of churches maybe miss this step, or if you're not on top of it and you miss the step and your click-through rate falls below 5%, you could be cut from the program and no longer be able to show ads. So that's something just to keep in mind, is you need to be coming into your account continually and optimizing your ads. There's a lot that goes into optimization. The first thing I would say you want to look at is analytics. You want to look, how are ads performing, what's working well, what's not working well. And the obvious change there is whatever's not working well, if a headline isn't performing well or a description isn't performing well, go in and change that. If it's not getting high clicks, if people aren't clicking on that headline, swap it out, change it up, change the way you word it. Instead of, hey, come to church with us this Sunday, maybe join us this Sunday, or bring your family as we dig into the book of Ephesians. You can really get specific on what your ads say. And I would say the more you can make it personal and that people actually feel invited into your church, the better. So think about, how do you personalize it? How do you keep it up to date as possible? I think offering, hey, join us for the book of Ecclesiastes as we walk through that this week. So anything that you can do to help personalize that ad for your community, for that specific campaign, whether it's for a church, again, for a youth group or an answer, whatever it might be, you need to be continually coming back and looking. Now, I mentioned the click-through rate. This is probably one of the biggest optimization points for nonprofits that run Google Ads, that have the nonprofit grant. You need to make sure your click-through rate stays above 5%. Now, click-through rate means if somebody searches church in Leander, Texas, or church in San Antonio, Texas, if your ad shows up, that counts as an impression. Now, what they're going to do is take the amount of impressions divided by the amount of times people actually click on that. And then that's going to give them this click-through rate percentage. And so you need at least a 5% click-through rate, that at least 5% of the people that are seeing your ad are actually clicking on your ad. And what you need to do is keep an eye on your keywords. If some keywords that you have, so a Google ad really works in a way that you set up, here's my ad, here's my headline, here's my description, but then also here is the keywords that I want this ad to show up for. So if you put in some keywords and some of them, their click-through rate's like 1%, that means people aren't really interested in your ad that's popping up. Maybe you had 100 people see the ad and only one person out of 100 clicked on it. Those aren't good stats, and Google doesn't really like that. They're not going to let you keep using Google Ads because you're not keeping your account optimized. So be sure to keep an eye on that. If you find keywords that are not performing well and under that 5%, go ahead and remove them. Work on adding some new keywords that month and find new keywords that you can add. But it is very important that you keep on top of that. And this is also really crucial too, as you optimize a campaign, because you can really see, what are people looking for in my community? Try and add, think about Christmas, and let's just take Christmas Eve service, for example. We set up a whole campaign around Christmas Eve services in San Antonio, Texas. So you're running this ad, and we're running different keywords. We're running Christmas Eve service or Christmas service near me, but then we put in candlelight service. And what'll be wild, you'll see candlelight service might have twice as many people searching for it and twice as many people clicking on it than Christmas Eve services. Now, this is the cool thing about analytics. You might, in your mind, think, oh no, we're just going after Christmas Eve. But what people might really be looking for in your community is a candlelight service. And so for you to put that in as a keyword, the analytics will tell you very clearly what people are really looking for in your community. So that'll also help you optimize your ad. Go back in and add the keyword candlelight service into your description, into your headline. Be sure and listen to the analytics. The more you listen to your analytics, the better you can optimize your ads. The more people you reach in your community for Christ. And that's the real goal. So I know that was a whole lot to unpack. Go ahead, let's take just a minute here. What questions do you guys have here? So what takeaways? Was there something that you learned today that maybe you didn't know? I would love to hear that. Is there something that you notice that you have more questions about? Go ahead and drop those in the comments now. If you're on YouTube with us, you can leave that in the comments below. I'll check those here in just a moment. If you're on Riverside with us, feel free to use the chat to leave any specific questions. Maybe you're like, hey, I already have the ads grant and I have this specific question. Would love to help you dive in deep a little bit today. Or maybe you're like, Zach, I had no clue about what any of this meant. I really have no clue what my next steps are besides just applying. We'd love to help you talk through and walk through those next steps with you. So I don't see any questions coming in. Let me check YouTube here real quick, make sure. All right, perfect. Let's see the question. Yes. So one thought, whenever you're running Google Ads for your church, you do need to keep it for multi-campus. You can absolutely run multi-campus. We work with some churches that under one 501c3, they have sort of two different DBAs or doing business as, or two different branded names. You can do that as long as they're on the same website. So one thing you can mess around with is, let's say you have a different name for the college ministry or something, they have their own website. Go ahead and just create a page for them on your main website. Even if they have a separate website, go ahead and just create a page for them on your website so you don't get flagged. If you're multi-campus, easy to do. Everybody just has their own location page. You can run targeted location ads within those specific areas. So this town or this neighborhood or these zip codes get these ads, these zip codes get these ads, so you can really target down your location. And that's just a general thought. You need to be targeting your area on all of your ads. It helps your click-through rate. Nobody's going to click on your ad. Let's just say, Danny, you're up in Durango, Colorado. Nobody's going to click on your ad from San Antonio, unless if they're moving there, which we can walk through that. There's some little settings that we can adjust for that, but you really need to set up your geo-targeting pretty tight within your area so that you keep a high click-through rate. Otherwise, you'll see your click-through rate go down real low, real quick. So yeah, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about our church growth package, be sure and just go to 10apps.com. You can go to the book a demo page. We'd love to set up a time where we'll go through a full audit of your website. So we'll run a full SEO audit of your website. We'll also run a first-time visitor audit of your website. So that'll show you where you're actually ranking whenever somebody's searching for a church in your town. And a part of that first visitor website audit is we're going to audit your website, and we're going to let you know things that are great and also some areas for opportunities for improvement that might help new first-time guests better connect at your church. Now, this is a free audit. There's no strings attached. We'd love just to help you see those opportunities on your existing church website and also where digital marketing could fit into that mix. Again, because if you search for a church in your town and you're not showing up in those top 5, it's really going to be tough for people to find you and for people to get plugged into your church and what God is doing at your church. So if you'd like to learn more about how we help churches with their search engine optimization, how we help churches with their Google ads today, how we help churches with their Facebook ads and Instagram ads, we'd love to sit down and just go through. This is our year-long worksheet here that we go through with our church growth package members. But again, we'll do a free audit of your website. Just go to 10apps.com. We'll take care of all these things for you. We'll host these webinars monthly where you can come and learn. But the cool thing is being a part of our church growth package, you don't have to do any of that. Really, we just come to you, get some of the inputs that we need to help us do all that actual legwork of setting up your ads, optimizing your ads, going in and re-optimizing them, going in and re-looking at the analytics, re-optimizing them. So we do all that for you. So if you'd like to learn more, be sure to go to 10apps.com and hit that book a demo, and we'll hang out, get to learn a little bit more about your church and see how we might be able to help you. So thank you so much for joining our webinar today. Again, if you have any further questions at all, feel free to email us at support@10apps.com. We'd love to connect with you, see how we can help you. Book a demo, we can look at something specific with you. We're really here to help you grow as a church, help you reach your community better. And I really believe that you can use Google Ads to do that. We've seen it church after church that you set these ads up and you'll be shocked about how people find you through these different campaigns and different questions that they're asking, and how you can help bring people to Christ through a free Google ad. So if you want to learn more, again, hit us up. We'd love to connect. It was great hanging out. Hope to see you guys all on our next webinar. See you guys. Thanks, Stephanie. Thanks, Angel. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Thomas. Thanks, Danny. We'll see you guys later. Have a great week.